Hey man, thanks again for helping me out last week. What a mess. But you did good. You did a good job on your solo episode. Proud of you, man.
Oh, I'm glad somebody listened to it, because I did not.
Well, you had to fill in. Was it pinch hit? Is that the sports term, the baseball term for me? Because
Yeah, you know sports. You pretend like you don't know sports, but you know sports.
I know a weird amount of football rules, but it amazes my wife every time.
Well, like I don't play D&D that often, but I know what a 12-sided die is. You know what I mean? There's some pop culture stuff. So yeah, pinch hit, I don't think you have to pretend to be a jock to use it in a sentence. So I think we can start to break down those walls between the fact that fantasy football nerds and D&D nerds are the same nerds. We just need to be friendlier to each other type thing.
Well, we tried to do this episode last week, and I totally whiffed. So we're here to redeem the episode no one heard.
It's what we realized. Tom's being too hard on himself. What we realized was it's a shot-for-shot remake of the movie Fight Club. So we figured we should take a week and not only schedule out 3 weeks worth of content while we both were, I would say, very busy with work. That's why last week happened. And at the very least, watch Fight Club to get in the right headspace to do this episode, which, we got things mapped out till July decently. This was a particularly tough month. It's also your birthday week.
Hey.
I don't know if you want to club horn yourself or if that'll feel too, I'll do it like, wah, wah, wah. There we go. I don't know. Didn't seem too inspired. Anyway, happy birthday, Tom. You are, as this hits the airwaves, officially 45 years old.
29, but feeling like it. So, anyway, let's start the show. What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. So I wanted to throw in this audio sample because I feel like the best way of dealing with my embarrassment is addressing it. The final nail in the coffin for trying to do this episode last week is we started to talk about the I Am Jacked recut, which is like the first
like
frame.
The first thing you see.
First frame. And I was, and I said, Jack Kerouac.
I could tell you've been at a party before where some hipsters expected you to know who Jack Kerouac was, and you were like, "Yeah, I've heard of Dharma Bums. I think I've seen the movie or whatever, or something like that." And I was like, "No, Tom, there's no pressure for me, man. We've been buds for too long for me to force you into that corner." Not only that, but also no, it couldn't be any less. At least as far as I know, I don't think it's related to that. But I always thought it was for the longest time, I thought Jack's Mannequin was a Fight Club thing, but It turns out I don't think it really is.
In my defense, I was thinking of Chuck Palahniuk and said Jack Kerouac on accident.
I get the two confused a lot. It's so close that my mind, and once you hit 29, that's when the mental capacity starts to drift. So you gotta be careful. You got to do those, download those mind puzzle apps. Keep yourself sharp.
My brain at this point is nothing but old Blink-182 and Simple Plan lyrics. So, we're getting there.
Hey, there you go. Anyway, I wanted to get this thing started. I think we're going to cover a little bit of the song as well because, if you know us, we argue a lot about whether Louder Now or Tell All Your Friends is better. This is obviously kind of the lead single off of Tell All Your Friends. We won't dive into that specific argument today, I don't think. A lot of time left on the clock, though. We'll see. But what we started the episode with last week, or tried to, was the fact that Cute Without the E, in parentheses, cut from the team. My question to you was, do you think the studio added on the cut from the team part to soften it?
Yeah, I'm not sure because I just think the word cut, I know it has its implications, but I don't know, is cut such a bad thing to say? I mean, especially when we have Hawthorne Heights kind of around a similar time saying cut my wrist and black my eyes.
Well, is that the reason why the studio would want to clarify that it's about not making an athletics team in a song, a very dark song about a relationship? I brought up I don't know if it was recently, the song Diane Young by Vampire Weekend. Obviously it's about dying young, but the band was told to rename it after a fictional female character, Diane Young. So I had a couple recommendations for what the studio could have told them to put in the parentheses to kind of help out a little bit and maybe make it a little more cool. First of all, I think they could have just gone right for it and said, if it was the band, not the studio, they should have just put "cute without the E" in parentheses, the cutting song, and just to make it very clear.
But it's not.
Just to make
it's not the cutting song.
It's really not. It's really not. Okay, but if the studio is going to add some notes, like, hey, we have some notes on those parentheses, track 3 or whatever, "cute without the E" in parentheses, but not in a razory way. Could have been something the studio might have wanted to soften it with.
If they want to get that native advertising, you can have it spelled RAZR. Get that Motorola money, not in the razory way.
Hey, it's what vertical funnel or whatever that. Obviously, I'm a pretty big businessman with my vertical tunnel talk. Got to make money on every level of the tunnel. Okay, their second recommendation might have been "cute without the E" in parentheses, plus a different E in parentheses. So it's just the word "cute" again. That's they don't get much better. I have a couple more. "Cute without the E" parentheses. That's a rap. In parentheses. That's maybe the worst one. And then I thought, it could have worked. Maybe they would sell the naming rights to the Barbershop franchise, Barbershop 4, parentheses, "cute without the E."
Barbershop 4? What's that?
The movies starring Ice Cube where he had to keep his dad's barbershop alive. And there was 3 of them. One of them could have been Barbershop 4, "cute without the E." This time, Cedric the Entertainer dies.
"Cute without the E" Tokyo Drift.
Cedric the Entertainer drifts asleep in the middle of the chair and everyone laughs at him. That's pretty much although, who am I kidding? I love those movies. Actually, stop me while I'm ahead. If you want to just talk about the first Barbershop movie for the next 35 minutes, I'm 100% down.
I've never seen that either,
no,
so.
Oh, well, I'm not going to put a gun to your head. Wait. I wanted to go bold and be like, and then you can tell your friends you put a gun to my head or whatever type thing, but I was like, man, I got to be pretty fucking sure that that's a Taking Back Sunday song we're talking about at the moment. So I didn't want to be too bold here. Anyway, you watched Fight Club recently. Let's talk about it. What'd you think? Did you watch it with your wife?
No, she definitely is not a fan of violence and toxic masculinity, we can call it.
Sure.
Which, who is. But anyway, I watched it. I had to stay up till 3 a.m. on Friday night in order to watch it after she went to bed. So I had my little Bluetooth headphones on so I can watch in silence. And there were so many details I completely forgot. I only remember the twist ending pretty much. And yeah, could not have possibly done this episode without rewatching it. I'm finding myself less and less interested in kind of hyped up violent movies. The mellow indie vibe is definitely more me lately. None of that Michael Bay type stuff. Not that this is Michael Bay, but definitely.
You into that mumblecore, bro?
What?
I don't know. Somebody on Twitter one time was like, "Hey, what should I watch?" I'm like, "Oh, there's a couple Duplass Brothers movies I liked," and he responded with, "I'm not really into mumblecore." I'm like, "Okay, you're on a different cultural level than me. What the f*** are you talking about?" I just think Jeff Who Lives at Home is kind of good. I'm not even trying to take a stand here. Anyway, I remember this movie blowing my mind, and we talk about this a lot on the show. Brand New and Fall Out Boy naming a bunch of songs after quotes in Wes Anderson movies. I think there was definitely a 2000s dude circle of 3 movies you needed to watch and albums you needed to listen to. Yeah. Taking Back Sunday doing a Fight Club music video, somebody was going to. There's a couple questions I have just from the premise of how they cast their own music video and just from this standpoint. Is Taking Back Sunday a good music video band?
Oh man, well we kind of tore apart the
Make Damn Sure video was not great.
Yeah, we kind of tore that one apart.
Clips from probably PBS's Nova program of cheetahs just stalking prey while they, kind of lose it in the middle of a old freezer that kind of looks like a bomb shelter, but it's not great. Good song. The Flavor Flav Your Soul Last Summer video is probably their best. I think I'm allowed to say that.
But it's also, it's fun, but it's also not quote unquote good, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a one-trick pony. It's kind of like, hey, that's the one with Flavor Flav, right? So is it even a great music video from that sense? This is another music video where and I say this on the show all the time, but Hoobastank ruined me with music videos. Theirs are so good. Dare You, or no, sorry, that's a Switchfoot song.
The Reason.
Hoobastank's, The Reason I Dare You to Move is a really good music video, but it depends if you feel they did Fight Club justice. Does it make it a good music video just because they did that really well? I don't know. Do you have any thoughts? Are we allowed? I don't want to come down too hard because obviously we wouldn't be saying this stuff if we didn't love them so much, but not like the most thrilling, awesome music videos, I don't think.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, even Liar off of Louder Now it's like a, again, quote unquote, a good video, but it is kind of a one-trick pony as well. It's, the lie detector, the lines coming to life. So I think they always have effort, but it's maybe all the effort is put into one thing rather than the production as a whole. But I think in terms of what they tried to accomplish, they did accomplish it very well. I think. I think
yeah. Put yourself in your 14-year-old shoes. Do you picture absolutely loving this music video?
Right. And I think also at a quick glance, it's hard to tell they're not just pulling clips from the movie. Like, the costumes are great. The cinematography style is great. They're doing the characters and the actions and the sequences very well. It seems like they did study the clips they were pulling from, like, pretty intensely. So I will give them credit for that.
Okay. Is it one of their best 2 videos?
There's probably a ton of videos I've never seen. And, I never even saw this video until last week. I'm just not... I didn't have MTV, so I didn't see a lot of music videos. So I think it's hard to judge. Based on the ones that I've seen before, I might watch this one over several others.
Yeah, I'm going to say this and Flavor Flav would be the ones that come to mind, or Your Show Last Summer, that is. Make Damn Sure was, I don't know. Yeah, it's okay if they're a subpar music video band because they're obviously one of our favorites ever.
You know what?
I would say
hold on.
Your So Last Summer and this are my favorite 2 of theirs. Yeah, sorry, I cut you off there.
No, they did their music video for Set Phasers to Stun. The music video for that, again, kind of a one-trick pony. It is a young boy acting like a Russian choreographer, and he's getting these kids to do this interpretive dance to the music video. It's at least very funny and entertaining. So I think if I'm going to watch a music video, I'll watch that one just because it's hilarious. But this one, it was done well. Probably could have used a little bit more fleshing out. But for what it is, I think it's great.
How about the casting? So we enter I Am Jack's recut. Rhythm guitarist playing the Edward Norton character, and Adam Lazzara, obviously, I guess by default, gets to be the Brad Pitt character. This is before the Fred Mascherino years. Do you think that casting decision, Brad Pitt, obviously in the movie, his character is the guy who F's like you want to F and fights like you want to fight and looks like you want to look. Do you think there was a squabble over who got to play that role? And do you think that either has anything or nothing to do? You can shut me down and be like, why would that matter? But do you think that had anything to do with the reason they parted ways and he went and did Stray Light Run for a few years there?
That's a really fun fake backstory to post to our Zanga or something. Like the real reason.
Yeah, right. He was probably mad. Inside sources say.
That's amazing. I think
unless you really like the Edward Norton character, because it is a very fun character at the end when he's like, mercury was flooding through my veins and I just kept running and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, it's a really good character as well, but you get to be more fun. I don't know. What would be the more fun? What would you want if you were in a band and you were shooting that video? Which part would you rather play? Or a third different part?
I'd rather play Brad Pitt's character. Because he's like the fantastical one. He's the one that gets to play a character, it seems like. Whereas Edward Norton obviously is a character, but he's more of like a normal person, I guess. Less...
Right. You would get to film the part of you whooping your own ass in the office, though. I have to imagine that was at least fun or challenging, right?
It was my favorite scene in Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, for sure. I can tell you that.
Ooh. Whoa, Fight Club ripping off Jim Carrey's career? Hot takes?
I think so. Also just in terms of Adam is the lead singer, he I guess by default would have the Brad Pitt character, but also I feel like his whole persona is more, it lends itself towards that. I mean, Adam seems like a character. He's got the hair. Oh my God, Pat, the hair in this video. And he's got that like...
Yeah, let's talk about this. Is this the ideal Adam Lazzara hair length?
It was the coolest hair that could be had in 2004.
Okay. I like that.
Wait, this was before
mostly because it doesn't mean a ton, but I like it.
I think this is pre-2004, but the super long bangs like coming down straight in your eyes, I thought it was like the coolest, most emo thing ever. And if we're just comparing characters, I don't think Brad Pitt had emo hair in this movie, but he definitely had something going on with his hair. So it was styled in a certain way. I think it makes sense. Adam is his character, and he's got that like kind of swagger to him. You know, I think Adam he plays it super well.
Yeah, it depends. Like we were ragging on them like 4 minutes ago. Now we're probably going to gush about how well they recreate it. Like it's almost like they're John Nolan and Adam Lazzara were the perfect dual singers to. I mean, it's almost like Tom and Mark Hoppus from Blank. Neither would be cool enough to pull off the Brad Pitt character, but there was something about Lazzara's whole vibe that let it happen. And Nolan was kind of built more for the Edward Norton character. So it does fit. And, you know, we joked a little bit about the intimidation scene where the waiters in the white tuxes, you know, have the dudes, cajones in, you know, a vice or whatever. The bass player cracking his knuckles. It was like, man, this dude was born to be in Taking Back Sunday and crack his knuckles when the band spoofed Fight Club. Like nothing has made more sense for that dude's whole vibe, you know, just in general. You know, obviously they did a great job. Thoughts on the subliminal messaging? You want me to read them all to you?
Yes, let's do. So just for the listeners, words spliced in like 1 or 2 frames really quickly, flash through sequences.
Yeah, they're hitting like a whole feature-length movie's worth of subliminal flashing throughout this music video. It's constantly, shimmering is the wrong word, blipping in and out. Skipping?
Sure. Bleeping? Blooping?
Blopping? Blupping? Sometimes bliping? No, okay, so they're doing... You know, I'll read them all. You tell me if you think they could have done something more with this or if it was vague enough to be cool. First one, this is not what you think, like one word at a time, right? What you think is not real. Are you what you think? ? Oh. Let it go. This is not real. I am Jack's bruised ego. You think you are an individual ? You are a fake.
No, you are not a snowflake.
Gotcha. Okay. I miss. Yeah, I remember you corrected me here in the notes. Good call. And God does not like you. They kind of start to skip all over the place at the end there.
Yeah. So you are not a snowflake. I swear that was a quote from the movie or something. I remember.
Yeah, you're not an individual. You know, they make you sit on the porch of the soap company.
Yeah.
For days at a time and kind of break you down. Yeah. So yeah, no, they're definitely creating that little soap army. I don't know. Part of me remembers how much I love this movie, but part of me pictures all the dudes that sat down and made the girlfriends watch this music video in like 2007. Like, isn't this awesome? And then just kind of nodding along like, yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, it's good. It's like the movie, you know, like just kind of like it's a lot like the movie. But no, you know, it depends how, you know, it's weird kind of growing up. I remember when I watched this movie, it was the first time I heard Where Is My Mind by the Pixies. At the end when the buildings are exploding. I don't think a movie has ever made me it was the first time I was at a sleepover and I was not the first person to go to bed, but I was the last person. It was just me watching the movie and I just walked home. I was at Dave Hall's house, so it was just like 4 houses down anyway. I was like, I just need to like walk. I don't even know how old I was, but yeah, just chills, man. I felt crazy after watching that movie as the buildings started you know, going down and everything. So, man, now I'm kind of starting to tap into the part of my brain that really likes not only that movie, but this band and now the video a lot more. So I take back everything I said. Taking Back Sunday's never, ever put out a bad music video. So whoever says otherwise is full of shit, quite honestly.
Well, okay, so I wanted to tell the quick story about how I first saw Fight Club and why I loved it at the time. So 8th grade, again, talk about this endlessly. Best year of my life, first year of public school, had friends for the first time, whatever. Our friend James McCallion, who was like one of the original music Sherpa, I believe, introduced us to so many songs we talk about on the show. he was obsessed with this movie, and I vividly remember watching it several times at sleepovers and just loving it because of the vibe of like, I have friends that are into music and, you know, cool movies or whatever. And one of my favorite memories was being at our friend Steve Buckland's birthday party, and James bought him this DVD for his birthday, and his mom made him give it back to return it because it was rated M and or rated R, and he wasn't allowed to watch rated R movies.
Man, if I wasn't in a similar household to Steve, I'd maybe poke fun a little harder, but it's like I feel him on that one.
No, and I'm not making fun of Steve. It's just like, it's so funny to think about.
No, I'm just saying in terms of having just living that type of like, no, this isn't what our household's about. So having to deliver that DVD back to James, I can only imagine. You know, it's like, hey man, just not going to happen for me, but I appreciate the effort. But then do you only end up learning to sneak the DVD next time? I don't know. Or just go watch it at James's? It's hard to say. I remember we got invited to Perry Ames's birthday party, and he said he wanted a Ludacris CD, and we got to the whatever store in the mall that sold CDs, brick and mortar style back in the day. And just, you know, I think it was Chicken and Beer was that particular record, I think, for that year. And my mom was like, no, I'm not gonna do this. So I was like, damn, sorry, Perry. My mom didn't want to buy you Chicken and Beer. I can't explain it. She just wasn't that into it, I guess. So, I mean, we were in maybe 5th grade at the time. So, you know, maybe it was the right call on her part. But,
I also remember one year my older stepbrother Scott, he got Old School and a Ja Rule album for Christmas, and we started watching Old School, and immediately there's just naked people. My mom took that back, and then the Ja Rule album, after she bought it and gave it to him, she was looking through the track list, and one of the songs was like, I'm a your bitch up or something. And she's like, yeah, we're taking this back. Like,
Scott would have been like, he had to have been almost 18 at that point, I'd imagine.
I don't know. No, probably like 15 or 16. But anyway, whatever.
Maybe he's younger. My timeline's off. It doesn't matter. You said your mom, you threw her off with some lyrics, some Taking Back Sunday lyrics once or something. What's that story?
Oh, it was from this. I had a picture on, I don't know if it was MySpace or like early Facebook. I hunted for it for a long time last week. I could not find it. But I was making, you know that like Midwestern thing where you like cross someone on the street and you like make your lips tight together, like this kind of half smirk with half of your face or whatever. And I was making that face, kind of like a whelp face with 2 finger guns to my head, and the lyrics, will you tell all your friends you've got your gun to my head? And my mom was like so upset about it. And I, of course, you know, I'm 16. I thought I was this like edgelord posting this photo on my Facebook.
Edgelord. I'm glad. Man, I don't know if there's a good internet era to have grown up in with terms that don't mean anything like 6 months after they're created. I think thankful to have been aware of edgelord. You know, I don't know. Just maybe, you know, it's weird, like generations fighting with each other back in the day was like, well, we got drafted. Well, it's just like, we're like, yeah, well, my era of the internet had edgelord involved in the terminology. So it was a little more hardcore back then. So, but you were an edgelord, if you don't mind me saying.
I tried. Sometimes I tried, for sure.
How did that get resolved? Your mom just is like, please stop pointing finger guns at your own head and posting it on the internet?
I think she just like left a comment. She's like, oh my God, Thomas, please take this
somehow?
down.
Oh yeah. Somehow worse than addressing it in person in the house.
So anyway. My old band, The Good Fight, used to cover this as well. I was the singer of the band, and it was also like, we covered quite a few songs. I'd say it's hard to tell if Cute Without the E or Best of Me got a bigger audience reaction, but people definitely liked when we covered Cute Without the E. And we had so much fun with it. It's probably the most fun I've ever had performing a song before. So I think it just speaks to like the intensity, the raw energy of the song. And I want to kind of go back real quickly. You were talking about like showing this music video to your girlfriend or whatever. There was a story from Adam Lazar.
Oh, I don't think I had one technically in high school. So I don't think, but I'm saying the process of like those Wes Anderson dudes being like, isn't this movie great? And they're like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Like, have your moment.
There's a pretty interesting article, though, on loudersound.com called The Story Behind Cute Without the E by Take It Back Sunday. I'll put a link in the show notes. But Adam was talking about how the song and the video came to be. And basically, he obviously super loved the movie. And there's a story about how he wanted to take his girlfriend to go see the movie, but she didn't want to see the violence. So he lied to her about what it was about and said it was actually a romantic comedy. She was super upset about it, yada, yada, which I think is just hilarious. Like, what's the point in lying about what a movie's about when the next 90 minutes you're going to be sitting there and knowing they're upset?
Yeah. Or just go see it with your buds, I guess.
Right.
You know?
Right. So anyway, kind of funny, but he mentioned as a romantic comedy that it was the women kind of beating up the men. So I don't know if in the music video it's kind of flipped where the women are beating the shit out of men, and maybe that was a nod to like the lie that he told to kind of maybe get back in his girlfriend's good graces, like, well, hey, I lied about it, but then I made my own version where the narrative I told you was true. And I thought that was kind of a cool little thing to know going into this. But anyways.
How about, you want to play a quick game before we drift towards the final third of this particular podcast episode?
Sure.
All right, let's break out the angsty meter and work through some of these lyrics. What do you say?
All right.
How about this? How about I'm outside of your window? Does it? Have we already broken?
Nope. No, that's a Hawthorne Heights song.
No, it was beautiful. Whatever it was, good job. I think that one might snap the handle off for me. Like at that point, you're going to need to file a restraining order on that dude. Like you can't just be doing that thing.
I think we've both been that person at least once in our lives, right?
Yeah, in a bounce a stone off the window way. I don't know if he's in a good mood in this particular song when he says that.
Okay.
I don't think he's gently tossing pebbles. I think he's probably screaming bloody murder. I think he's singing the song he wrote about being outside the window to her. That's the vibe I get. I don't know.
Oh, man. Yeah, a little more angry than our whatever vibes in ninth grade.
Yeah, no, I just like, dear lover, I love you. I think I do. I'm still pretty young. I couldn't find a smaller pebble. Your dad takes good care of your lawn, and I'm scared of him, so I'm going to run away now. How about this one? 1,000 clever lines unread on clever napkins.
I like that one.
Is this an all-timer Taking Back Sunday lyric?
It's definitely one that stands out. First of all, I just think clever napkins is a funny phrase, but yeah, when I think of this song, I think of the first line of the chorus and that line, 1,000 clever lines on red and clever napkins. It's pretty angsty. I'll give it an 8.
Out of 10?
Yeah. What do you think?
He's angsty about his own art, I guess. Maybe he's jealous of someone else's. He's talking shit on, I don't know how many poets were in his high school. There weren't too many notebook toting by pen. Like, there weren't too many Cobain prototypes at our school. No one was really, maybe the internet changed that. People were more dumping their stuff into MySpace blogs. But, yeah, not a ton of people wasting too much ink in notebooks in our high school, or needing to like J.K. rolling it up in the cafeteria to prove they were writing. There's like that funny Demetri Martin sketch where he's like trying to be at a coffee shop. He's like, oh, everyone's writing. I got to make it look like I'm writing something. Oh, I'll pretend I'm writing a song. And he's like, pretends to like air drum. And he's like, this is the least anyone's looked like they've ever looked writing a song. Like, like who air drums the beat and pretends to be thoughtful about it. Anyway, yeah, no one was really pouring it on that thick artistically, I don't think. But I'm going to say it's not that angsty, maybe more jealousy type stuff. You mentioned the first line of the chorus. And will you tell all your friends you've got your gun to my head? Yeah, I'll give that at least an 8. I'm curious what you have to think. That's if not one of the lines that would invent the angstometer on our show, or be worthy of the grading system in general.
Yeah, because it's a breakup song, and a lot of the drama around a breakup is the relationship with the partner's friends, and God forbid, some of their friends or some of your friends and picking sides and stuff. And it's always like, what are you going to tell them I did? Or like, are you going to tell them what actually happened? I don't know if, well, definitely the implications of death coming from this breakup, pretty angsty, but also just in a real sense, that was also a very hard part of breaking up. 9?
Boom. Love it. Here's another idea for parentheses. Cute without the E in parentheses, I stay wrecked in parentheses.
We sad as homie.
It's weird seeing it because I love this album so much, but I stay wrecked and jealous for this simple reason. Anyway, I think that's a lot of what we wanted to touch on today, other than the fact that, you know, they include the male breast embrace at the beginning, you know, Darla, I believe is her name. Obviously very accurate. At the end, the beer bottle falls, and of course, Brad Pitt's character, Adam Lazar, is not there to catch it. Very good for what it is, if nothing else, right?
Yeah, I think, again, the accuracy of like the body movements. I think my favorite part in the movie is how well they did when the girl is like on top of the guy, just presumably beating the life out of him. Her head whips up, the hair snaps. She like takes a deep breath to like take in what she's doing, and then just like goes back to pummeling. It's it's a strong moment in the movie and in the video, and it's done very well. Yeah, I mean, I think the final conclusion has to be, is it a good video? I don't really know, but for what it is, it was done well. In the same sense of, was this episode done very well? I don't know.
Yeah, well, hey, it's weird because it's one of those songs that you got to touch on, and you look at it, you're like, okay, some videos, we reference Swing Swing by American Rejects, All American Rejects all the time. It's just a video introducing the band. This is one where they took a swing, right? There's a lot going on, and then you realize like, oh, maybe there isn't so much nuance. Like with Stacy's Mom, you get to explore the whole concept of like, man, there's got to be some, where's the dad? You know, first of all, like there's a lot of stuff that that leaves to memory, but this is so well done. It just is the movie in a shorter amount of time. So it's just kind of like, here's the episode, here's our take. They did a good job for what it is, and I liked it as a teen, you know, so it's a little tough to get too imaginative from that sense. But was this ever your favorite song? Before we wrap it up, I'm curious.
It was one of them. I think I tend to lean heavier on Where You Want to Be, but if I'm exploring Tell All Your Friends, this is the first one I'm going for. It's honestly one of probably their best songs ever in their catalog, right?
I'm not going to fight you very hard. I mean, it's got to, yeah. I'd say, I mean, that and You're So Last Summer had to have been the two biggest songs off that record. So it doesn't surprise me at all that those were the two, at least most memorable videos. If there were any others, you know, we'll have to go back and maybe correct ourselves next week. Here's a question. Should you have just let me talk about Weezer from 2011 to 2020 for an hour this week? Would that have made up for things? I got a lot of White Album takes.
I feel like I could have done a better job on this episode, for sure.
No. It is what it is. I'm going to say it's a good video. They're a bad music video band. This is a good video because it's good at what it does, and at least it's more than just the band playing music while a side story of a boy and a girl break up and get back together or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's no Ocean Avenue, but
sure.
You know, or what the is that Hoobastank song?
The Reason.
The Reason, right. It's no Ocean Avenue or The Reason. You know, some of these like original, you know, fictional mini stories that are actually pretty compelling. You know, there's only a handful of those, unfortunately, because those are fun to talk about and explore. But yeah, no, it's good for what it is.
But it's
do you have
also,
any songs with it?
It's also just not a band doing a performance video really cheap. Like, they clearly went for something, and I think that's
what kind of get you caught up. It's like, my wife was like, nah, if it was on Fuse, I'd change the channel. I was like, oh, she watched a lot of Fuse, so that must be saying something. I know. I was like, maybe this is a bad music video, but in my head, it's like, it's Take It Back Sunday, it's a Fight Club spoof. This has to be inherently good, right? But maybe therein lies the rub. I'm not sure. So maybe we're undetermined after a few minutes of talking here.
Let's end the episode on a praise for the song. this album came out in 2002. I don't think I heard it until 2004, 2005 maybe, but there has never been a more relevant line to a freshman in high school than one of the pinnacles of this song. Why can't I feel anything from anyone other than you? It's kind of a mouthful in
Angstomita.
Oh my God.
Couldn't agree more. I will only say this. This is the best use of the word napkins in any song I've ever heard.
Damn it.
No, you picked out the best line, so I couldn't just say what you just said. No, it was fun. It was good. Are we allowed to say what's coming up next week? I know a draft's in the works. I know brand new's in the works. Question mark, ... question mark. Grammatically incorrect, but ellipses of some sort.
Maybe some fireworks in the works. Maybe it's already in the
fireworks
can.
Fireworks in the works. Ooh, wee-tee, Shane. Talk to me, baby.
So we've got some cool things going on, but tomorrow is my birthday. I'm working my ass off today, so I don't have to work tomorrow.
Happy birthday, man.
Thanks, dude.
Enjoy it. I hope you have enjoyed it by the time this drops.
I'm sure I will, in that I will do absolutely nothing out of the ordinary, and I will just enjoy a pleasant, mellow day.
Yay. And then, that sounds nice. Enjoy. I'm jealous. Not jealous. I'm happy. I don't know. Whatever.
Let's give a song of the week. There
we go. Okay, I'll go first. The Mountain Goats. Songs for Pierre Chauvin. I'm not pronouncing that right, I bet. But track 1, Aulon Raid. If you like the Mountain Goats, you'll probably like it. That's my song of the week.
I don't know the Mountain Goats, so I'll have to explore that.
Going to Georgia. Lovely. Actually...
you know what?
Other song.
Dan Campbell of the Wonder Years did a cover of that on...
No Children. Stellar. This Year is a good New Year's Day song. They have more than that. I'm just a surface Mountain Goats fan, but it's fun. They're fun to get into. Find the ones of theirs you like, and then just kind of damn these vampires. Going to Georgia. Going to Georgia is so fucking good.
So I've talked about Forehill a ton on the show in the songs of the week. He does like chill wave, synth wave kind of stuff. It's been driving me crazy that I can't find anyone in that genre that I enjoy as much as him, because everything else, it doesn't have like that emotion, like this power to it that I'm really looking for. So I went on kind of a tirade this week trying to find similar artists that also capture some kind of emotion in their music rather than just sounding like background, chill beats to study/relax to. I want something that'll make me feel something. And an artist called Hotel Pools put out an album called Constant in 2019. The song Vega is pretty good on it. I'm still exploring the record a little more and trying to find out which songs really stand out to me, but it's a good album, good beats, fun music. Trying to find more like it. So if anyone out there listens to chill wave, synth wave type stuff, hit me up and hit us up on Twitter at _reminiscentfm. Let us know all the things we left out of this episode.
And if you are out there studying and not listening to chill wave, how? We'd love to know. Tweet at the show at _reminiscentfm. What's your secret, man? We need some quarantine work from home tips. And if if in a world without chill wave, how does one get by? Who's to say? Anyway, thanks for indulging me, Tom. This felt like an important one to not get out of the way, but just kind of once we dug back into it, it's like, oh, it's the movie. Cool. Anyway, I love you very much. I love you all for listening. We're going to head over to the post show, sounds like, in a minute or a couple seconds.
Yep. Love you too, man. Love you all. See you later. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for hanging out throughout the entire episode. This was a fun one to record, a fun one to prep for, and a great song. I used to love covering this with my pop punk band and with this little acoustic thing I was doing for a bit. Killer song. Hit us up on Twitter at _reminiscentfm. Let us know about the first time you heard this song, and check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/reminiscent, to hear the post show and see some behind the scenes photos and videos not available anywhere else. Thank you so much for listening. We love you all. We'll see you next week. Bye.